In this review of the week's news, Redcliff School may close, but the battle isn't over yet. The St Bede's rowing saga, should they have gone? And who has the best hot cross buns? Kia ora, welcome to CTV News Week in Review. I'm Jared McCulloch. It can be fixed, it's not expensive, and closing it down is the wrong decision for the community. Labour's Ruth Dyson says Redcliff School should be kept open. Here's more. Redcliff School may close. Those are the words from the Education Minister on the future of this Christchurch primary school.
Based on all the geotechnical, all the modelling results, that I'm initiating consultation to propose closure of Redcliff School.
The Minister made the announcement following a number of reports assessing if the site would be safe to return to. However, the opposition party's local MP has fought back, saying the school can be saved.
The Minister's been sitting on the report from the geotech experts for over 6 months. I don't know why she keeps the community in limbo for so long. I think it was her proposal to close the school rather than the Ministry, who I think advised to move the school back on site.
They were forced to move from their original site in June 2011 after the earthquakes caused severe damage to land and rockfall from the cliff above. Now they're operating out of the Van Ash Deaf Education Centre, a few kilometres around the bay in Sumner. And the School Board of Trustees were surprised by the announcement.
We've worked really hard on this for the last 4 years, so the decision from the Minister certainly wasn't what we were expecting.
However, the Minister says the report suggests ideas for the school's future, moving the school further forward on the site.
The cliff continues to degrade, that there will be further rock falls. The reports do state that if the school is moved forward and a mechanised bund of just over 4 metres is erected, that it will provide safety.
But she believes it may cause problems in years to come.
However, because there is also clear indications that there will be further rock falls, we don't know whether periodically in the future we would have to move the school again to make further assessments. So on that information, we're unable to give families assurance that there will be uninterrupted education on this site.
She's been proven to be wrong on the point that she's made, so how could you possibly trust what she says is not the reason, which is about money? I think that the government might be looking at saving money by having one less school in the area. I think it's a wrong way to save money and it will be harmful to our community.
Minister Parata hasn't determined yet if the school was likely to close. It would merge with other schools or build on a new site. But Dyson says it's not the time to think about this outcome.
I want the community to show the Minister that they really want their school back and give good reasons as to why they know it to be safe. The geotech information is all there. I think it's really now incumbent on the Minister to say, well, my proposal was wrong, the local community is right, and I'll put Redcliff School back home on its original site.
And she says the school will be keeping a close eye on the process.
She has to show that she has listened to the submissions, understood them and has considered them in making her final decision. So I know that people in Redcliff will be keeping a very close eye on the letter of the law and making sure that the Minister complies with it. This is a required process, but it's also a process where she has to demonstrate she's listened to the submission.
The consultation process will run until May, allowing the school to put forth their recommendations. So the school remains in limbo, uncertain of where to go. They'll still be here at the Van Ash Deaf Education Centre until Heke Parata can make her final decision in August. Jared McCulloch, CTV News. There was outrage when 2 St Bede's College parents took on the school in the High Court and won. It followed the school's decision to punish 2 students from taking part in a national rowing competition after they breached airport security. Marcus Gibbs explains.
St Bede's rowers on the water at Māori Cup in 2013. Among them during this year's race, Jordan Kennedy and his friend Jack Bow. The 2 rowers breached aviation security at Auckland Airport, seeing their school ban them from the national rowing competition. But a High Court judge today granted them a temporary injunction, allowing them to compete. In a statement from Aviation Security, a spokesperson says the 2 schoolboys took a ride on the baggage conveyor at the Jetstar Carousel in the arrivals hall at Auckland Domestic Airport. They were instantly spotted once they passed through the rubber curtains. The boys apologised immediately and said they did it for fun. Aviation Security and the police both formally warned the boys for their actions. In a statement, Jordan Kennedy, Jack Bow and their families wish to make clear they're remorseful for their actions, calling the ordeal a stupid prank. They state the court action was due to concerns over the school's decision-making process and was never to justify or excuse their actions at Auckland Airport, nor was it to suggest that the college was not entitled to take disciplinary action. But the ban wasn't proportionate to the boys' actions. The boys are grateful for the opportunity to now compete at the regatta and understand there may be disciplinary consequences from the school following an investigation. However, some Cantabrians weren't happy with the parents' actions when quizzed by CTV News today.
Well, why should the parents undermine the school? The school has rules and regulations. The boys knew when they went to the rowing what the rules and regulations were. They broke them. They have to take the consequences.
Yeah, that's silly, isn't it? I think it's silly.
In this circumstance, I think that the parents have overreacted slightly.
No, they should be on the first flight back home.
I think it's pretty heavy of the school to not let the boys play.
Should first enter discussions with the school and try and sort it out by mediation always.
I mean, school rules are school rules. Yeah.
There's always someone that wants to debate that, and that's what they've done. They've said, basically, I don't like your ruling and I want to actually still go.
Aviation Security says in airport environments there is zero tolerance for games or pranks, and any further instances of this type of behaviour are discouraged. The Civil Aviation Authority is reviewing all details of the incident, and further action could be required. This could simply be additional signage or a combination of things to help prevent an occurrence like this again. One of the fathers of the boys, Shane Kennedy, has stood down from his role as chairman of the St Bede's Rowing Club due to the case. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
They've been away from their natural habitat for centuries, but this week the Canterbury Gecko was relocated back to Riccarton Bush. Here's more. Being welcomed to a new home, these geckos are being introduced to their new patch in Christchurch. The Canterbury Gecko are familiar with this territory, originally from this native bush many years ago, and today they're coming back as earthquake work is being completed. At this ceremony today, a small crowd gathered to see them released back into Riccarton Bush, and a herpetologist says it's great for them to find a new home.
It's surrounded by a predator fence. All the pest mammals that would normally eat these geckos have been eradicated. Mice can't even get in. So, and this is where they actually used to live. They're eaten out of a lot of the forest by predators, especially the rats and the stoats that climb trees. So we're actually returning to the forest.
There are 5 different types of lizards living in the Port Hills and Banks Peninsula, with many living in a rocky environment. But these geckos need to be relocated as the Christchurch City Council prepares to fix up and reopen Sumner Road between Evans Pass and Littleton. The council's planning major rockfall risk work to control the crater rim bluffs in the rocky area.
These geckos are capable of living anywhere where there are no predators, so that included these forests. Today they're mostly restricted to the crevice rock outbluffs because they have tiny little cracks in them, and the mice and the rats, they can't get in. So it's the best refuge from predators. So they've lost a lot of their former habitat, and that's why you now see them just in the bluffs. But if you were to take the predators out of the system or step onto an offshore island where there are no predators, they would live anywhere.
This is the ideal place for a Canterbury gecko being moved out of danger's way, with 45 being released today and a target of 200 making their way here over the next couple of days. And she says they'll be monitored to see how they get on with this new lifestyle.
We're planning to fit 20 animals with small transmitters that will allow us to look at how they move once they're released in the few weeks following the release. And in the long term, we'll be going back and looking for them again. This will be long term. We're talking 10 years before. Often with geckos like this, the population recovery is quite slow. They only have 2 young a year, and they don't breed till they're about 4. So it would be realistic to see the population recover in time, but it will take a few years.
And they're not the easiest creatures to get a hold of, with catching them being quite challenging.
It depends where you're catching them from. If they're living in the tops of trees, they're almost impossible to even find, let alone catch. If they're living under a rock, it's not too bad. If the rock is small and you can come along and lift it. The abseilers have had the job of gently coaxing them out of crevices, and they're doing a very good job at this. So it just depends a bit where the animal's living and also how fast it is. They're cold-blooded animals, so if you have a warm day and you try and catch one, it's most likely going to get away.
The geckos will have nearly 8 hectares to explore, and she's happy with the support, especially at Riccarton Bush.
I'm just really happy to see these animals home. You know, we're returning them to the home of their ancestors, and they will rapidly adapt. They know how to feed. They're pretty smart little things, and I think I'm just really stoked to be able to take them to a safe place like this. 3
words for these Canterbury Geckos: home sweet home. Jared McCulloch, CTV News. Well, still to come, colour comes to Christchurch and the council builds more social housing.
Kids television is right here on CTV. Tune in every Saturday from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. for an exciting range of fantastic kids programming. Join in with all the fun Saturday mornings from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. on CTV.
At Bowden Environmental, we specialise in all aspects of resource management, so you don't have to deal with the paperwork. With the skills and knowledge to organise any environmental work, we can guide you through the process from start to finish. From organising consents and farm environmental plans to pump and well testing, Bowden Environmental has it covered. Save time and remove the stress. See the specialist. Bowden Environmental.
Avoid the monkeys when it comes to relocating. Trust A1 Movers, a family business since 1993 that guarantees a professional job every time. We carefully handle and wrap your valued items, ensuring they have a safe journey. Secure storage and insurance options are also available.
A1 Movers, the careful, caring moving company. Oi!
Come on down to Ferrymead Golf. Care for a game of paintball? How about some swings on the old driving range? Or on our par 3 9-hole golf course? Test your skills on the mini golf course or have a go at the airgun shooting range. Then relax at the Wow Cafe with one of our super succulent Wow Burgers. Whether you want to perfect your swing or are looking for a fun family day out, come down to Ferrymead Golf, 50 Ferrymead Park Drive, right next to the Ferrymead Heritage Park.
Arts 21 showcases the vast creative talent and minds that are making a name for themselves in Europe and beyond. Think outside the square with Arts 21.
Welcome back. It's more than just colour to hit Christchurch. For its 2nd year running, the Holy Festival of Colour came to town and brought a shade of cultural awareness with it. A day of colourful celebrations, traditionally marked by Indian communities all around the world, and it's also being acknowledged here in Christchurch. Over 1,000 people turned up to the Commons on the corner of Kilmore and Durham Street North, enjoying the annual Holy Festival of Colour. This is the 2nd such event to take place in the central city, and one of the organisers says he's happy with the turnout.
The whole idea was to bring the colours to the city. The Christchurch needs a lot more, help and events, so we believe that it's going really good. It's adding colours to the city.
He says after the earthquakes, it was the club's goal to bring a positive vibe back for the locals.
I have lived in Christchurch after earthquake. Post-earthquake, we all thought we need to add value and colours to the people's life. So I think in that sense, it's really important that we hold such more events, and this is really encouraging the people turn out and everything. So it's very important for Christchurch.
The event is noted as being a casual environment with a colour throwing zone set up to throw powder and enjoy Indian fusion performances. But what's the meaning behind all the colour? This is one of the biggest festivals in India and is celebrated every year in March on the full moon. And the colours all come out to make sure that everyone is equal and to celebrate and forgive. And even security jumped in on the fun. Last year the event was held in the Pallet Pavilion, set up on the same site as part of a gap filler project. However, the outdoor complex came down in April last year, but he says it's worked in his favour, with them allowing a bigger venue this year.
The last year the Pallet Pavilion was a bit restricted, but we could include more people this year, and we do hope that in future we hold it at the bigger venues. But this is really an amazing experience.
And he says it's not just for the Indian community of Canterbury, instead for everyone to come together.
We do events, we try to make it for the wider community so that different cultures can come together, appreciate each other's cultures, and it's a time for each other to build a relationship with each other, so it's a great time.
And everyone CTV spoke to said it's important to embrace our multicultural city.
It's actually really important because it makes people gather together, and that's really nice.
I think it's really important to have more cultural stuff, more enthusiastic stuff, music, fun. I think it's critical to the city. It gets people out, gets them mingling, gets them having fun, makes the city really alive.
The event ran smoothly without any major incidents, and now the focus for these partygoers will be getting the colour out of their clothes. Or maybe that's just me. Jared McCulloch, CTV News. And just so you know, I was able to save the shirt. Well, to other news now this week. Having now received insurance money, the Christchurch City Council was pushing ahead with plans to rebuild and repair social housing. Marcus Gibbs has the details.
Progress at Harmon Court, a $3.5 million development, turning the sod on the site where 18 new units will be built by the end of the year. After more than 28 years living at Harmon Court, Anne was given the honour of leaving her mark on the new development.
I mean, to me, it's my home and I treat it as if I own it, as if I look after it.
She's enjoyed her time here and hopes she'll be one of the first to move into the new units.
Fingers crossed I can get one of the new ones, because I want to move downstairs, you see, so fingers crossed.
3 blocks of units will be built on the site. They will be completely different to the older dated apartments that Anne and the other tenants live in. They'll feature an open plan living area, kitchen, dining room and accessible wet bathrooms.
These things, as you may be able to see, are a few years older than what we're going to be building from now, and so we'll be working to a new code and exceeding that code from an insulation point of view, so the comfort and dryness for the people that will be in these units will be very good.
Prior to the earthquakes, the social housing portfolio had 2,649 units. At present, more than 2,200 units are open due to earthquake damage. More than 427 units have since been rebuilt, reopened or repaired since the earthquakes, and by July 2018, the council aims to have at least 2,366 units in its portfolio. Housing is still very much a serious issue. Last year, the waitlist for social housing averaged 292 people a month. In the earthquakes, 113 units were lost in the residential red zone, many of them sought after 2-bedroom units. The City Council is now pushing ahead to work with Housing New Zealand to replace these.
The second block here is a 2-storey block with 4 2-bedroom units in it, so it's really important for us. It's the start of replacing that part of our stock. We lost 94 2-bedroom units in the earthquakes.
The start of construction on this site is a milestone for the City Council. It also marks the start of a busy year of rebuilds and repairs.
Council's absolutely committed to repairing or replacing the units that were lost in the earthquakes and looking at intensification where we possibly can, and the 18 new units proposed on this site at Harmon Court are exactly what this is about.
So we've got a program of about 61 new builds, and so this is part of that new build program, plus repairing and reopening about 75 units during this year.
Earlier this week, 4 units reopened in Littleton's Boyd Court.
And that's a really good example of where we've repaired existing units, and one thing that we'd done there was to turn what were studio units into 1-bedroom units.
The City Council has so far received 2 EQC payouts, totalling nearly $40 million. These funds have enabled the council to kickstart its rebuild and repair program, but there have been hold-ups along the way.
We've been successful in getting some EQC recoveries, and it's great that that's resolved. However, there are some insurance issues that do remain unresolved. It's good that we're able to press on with a lot of the programme in the absence of those recoveries anyway.
The City Council hopes the 18 units at Harmon Court will be complete by the end of November, with tenants moving in before Christmas. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
A new program was launched in Christchurch Schools this week to inspire a new generation of IT specialists. Marcus Gibbs reports.
Solving everyday problems with technology. That's the aim of this new program launching today in Christchurch. 250 school children spent 3 hours together to find new solutions to everyday problems. Mentors help the students, and at the end of the day, the top 3 teams pitch their ideas in a Dragon's Den style competition.
Why don't we try and bring a whole lot of the clubs together and run a mash-up and see what they can come up with in an intensive 3-hour session.
Friday's mashup combined 70 Christchurch after-school clubs, which are run and led by partners from the IT industry. This program helps more than 1,000 students every week.
Our universities are stacked full of international students, and in our computer science and software engineering degrees we actually have very few Kiwis enrolling in there. So we want to influence the kids now when they're at the primary and intermediate level, so they'll then go on at high school to choose to study the new digital technologies curriculum, and then hopefully on to university and on to the job market.
In Christchurch, software development is a $1 billion industry, but IT specialists are seen as geeks. This group wants to change that perception.
It's about communication, teams of people working together, solving problems for other people.
So what are the students brainstorming? Well, these girls are thinking about how to keep homes warm during a cold Christchurch winter.
It'll tell you if you've turned your lights off at your house or you'll shut your garage door.
And also you can also turn off
automatic heaters.
You can turn on your heaters before you, like 30 minutes before you get home, so you can come back to a warm house.
The girls also want to keep our roads safer.
And also like foreign drivers and an app to say, like just like a 5-minute video saying about New Zealand road rules for the foreign drivers that come.
The group's founder says he's confident that potentially one of the 250 students could become the future founder of New Zealand's first billion-dollar software export company. Now, wouldn't that be a wonderful future? Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
Well, still to come, they're the best hot cross buns in New Zealand, or are they?
When you need to know what's happening in your region of Canterbury, join me, Chris Lynch, for CTV News First at 5, weeknights from 5, right here on your local channel, CTV.
Computer not working? Replace or repair? DIY or get a technician? Looking for parts? Thinking of upgrading? Need accessories? You've got questions, we've got answers. Global PC.
The preparation, the devotion, the fearlessness, the intensity.
Runway model management. First impressions are everything.
Made to measure interiors, made with care, made for you.
Join Graham Sinclair and the team at Gone Fishing as they bring you great stories, fishing tips and beautiful scenery. Gone Fishing, Friday night at 8:30, right here on CTV.
Welcome back. Easter. It's nearly here again, and for one local bakery, their ovens have been running red hot. So what makes them so good? It's been a busy week here for these bakers, keeping up with the hundreds of people racing in and out of the store, all wanting one of Easter's popular treats. Kids Cakes and Bakery are flat out after grabbing the title of the best hot cross bun in the country. They took out the Great New Zealand Hot Cross Bun competition 2 years ago, and the founder of this bakery says this year they've made a few tweaks to the recipe.
And that's a good thing because tastes change just slightly, but we make sure we hang on to all the old recipes because, like fashion, I think we'll end up going right back around again to the start.
And now they've come back out on top, with Martin saying it can be difficult to get them just right.
Every time you enter something, you improve what you do. But when you go, wow, yes, that's great, and then particularly with the hot cross bun, you go, yes, and then you realise how much work is involved after that.
It's not just local customers enjoying the triumphant treat. People from around the country want a taste of them too, with orders coming in from the North Island. So of course, how much does New Zealand's best hot cross bun cost? Well, these 6 bad boys would set you back $9.80. But the question is, why are they so popular?
It's because it's a seasonal product, and you get that little autumn feeling, and it all sort of rolls in, and the buns are spiced and fruity, and it sort of hits the spot.
So, how do you make this award-winning bun?
It starts by making the dough, of course, which is a bulk fermentation. For those that don't know, it takes a couple of days to work through so that all the sugars and the yeast work really well with the flour, and we get a much nicer flavour.
And after being mixed to perfection, they're made into an appropriate size bun, moving to this machine to help speed up the process. Then the signature topping, the cross, before heading to the oven for 18 exact minutes. There's a real science behind making these the best, with citrus and fruit present, but he says he hasn't given away too many secrets.
Not at all. I mean, just the blend of spices is hard-earned. It's taken us a lot of time, and we've been in business 28 years now. So you learn as you go along.
And while they're baking, I asked Martin about their new premises, opened since early last year at a cost of $4 million, being located in a temporary building next door after the earthquakes. And Martin says with the increased space, it's been busier than ever, needing to employ more staff.
Oh, it's been magic to be in this new building. I mean, the old building was like working in a cave. It was a very old building to start with, and then towards the end, the earthquakes shook it around, and it got even less tastier than it was before. It's about more than 4 times the size of what we used to have. We've got all new computer-controlled ovens. We've got new machinery. We've got a pie machine. We've got, you name it, we've got it. And it's just enjoyable working with decent machinery.
And speaking of a finished product, we've gotten to the end now. How do they taste? You have to check them off, I guess.
Quality control. Okay. Might be the smallest one, but it still tastes good.
So let's take this to the people of Christchurch. We've got a simple test. One variety of hot cross buns as the New Zealand's best, and the second one is just a simple pack and save Easter bun. The first one, the world's best, is $9.80 for 6, where the pack and save one is roughly around about $3 for a 6-pack. Let's try it out. I'm from CTV. I've got 2 different varieties of Easter buns here. I'd like you to try one of A and one of B, and then tell me which one you like best. And the taste test begins. As this is a blind taste test, no one knows they are trying New Zealand's best hot cross bun. So will they choose A, the nation's best, made here in Christchurch, or B, the cheaper option from a supermarket, both being bought fresh today? So the results are in.
Well, I think I like B better.
B.
A?
Yeah.
I think I like B the best.
I will go for A.
B.
Definitely B.
The real question is, why are people picking B? Do people not... Maybe B is more traditional for them, or maybe that's what they're used to. Who knows? B. Why do you like B?
It's not as dry. Tastier, like raisins.
And what about you? Why'd you pick A?
Just a little sweeter.
And now it's time to break the news. I won't be prepared for this. Would it surprise you that actually A has been voted New Zealand's best hot cross bun right here in Christchurch, and B is just your typical supermarket one?
No.
Really? That's pretty impressive.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
But then there are some people who are not quite sure. Both of them don't tell any difference at all. They both... Well, And after a second try, just to be sure, he decided on the pack and save variety.
Because it's got more taste in it, it's got more sort of flavour with it.
And then when I broke the news to him about A being voted the best...
A's pretty good.
Yeah. Good change of heart there. So there you have it. The pack and save variety have taken the blind taste test out on the day.
Thank you for your afternoon tea.
No worries at all. I hope you have a great day. Jared McCulloch, CTV News. And that is CTV News Week in Review. I'm Jared McCulloch. Have a great weekend.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.